Did you know that the average income in the richest country is over 500 times higher than in the poorest country? Imagine for a moment, a world where the monetary value of your work, your time, and your energy is multiplied by 500. What could that mean for your life, your opportunities, your dreams? Now let's flip the coin. Picture a reality where your income is divided by 500. How would that affect your daily life, your ability to provide for your family, your hopes for the future? This is the stark reality for many people around the globe. This disparity isn't just about numbers on a page, we're talking about gross domestic product, living conditions, and most importantly, human lives. It's not just an economic issue, but a humanitarian one. Such a gap is not just a statistic, it is a reality that affects millions of people. Now let's take a closer look at the richest country in the world. Imagine a place where the streets are lined with opportunities, where the air hums with the promise of prosperity. This place exists. It's the richest country on our planet. Here, wealth is not just about the gross domestic product, it's about the living conditions, the opportunities, and the overall quality of life that the residents enjoy. The economy of this country is a well-oiled machine, humming along at a brisk pace. It's a land of opportunity, where entrepreneurs thrive and businesses flourish. The robust economy is supported by a strong infrastructure, with roads, bridges, and public transportation that are well-maintained and efficient. This infrastructure doesn't just facilitate commerce, it's also a foundation for the high standard of living that the residents enjoy. Education is highly valued in the richest country. The education system is top-notch, with schools and universities that consistently rank among the best in the world. Students here are not just taught to pass tests, they're taught to think critically, to innovate, and to solve problems. This focus on quality education is a key factor in the country's wealth, as it ensures a steady stream of highly skilled workers who contribute to the economy. Healthcare in the richest country is also world-class. Hospitals and clinics are equipped with the latest technology, and the medical staff are highly trained. The health of the residents is a top priority, and this focus on healthcare contributes to the high life expectancy and overall happiness of the people. But it's not just the tangibles that make this country rich, it's also the intangibles. The high happiness index, the sense of security, the opportunities for personal growth and fulfillment. In this country, prosperity is not just about the wealth that can be counted in dollars and cents. It's also about the wealth of experiences, the wealth of opportunities, and the wealth of happiness. In this country, prosperity is not only visible in numbers, but also in the quality of life. On the other end of the spectrum, let's delve into the realities of the poorest country. Imagine a place where everyday life is a struggle, not just for prosperity, but for survival. A place where people face hardships that stretch beyond the imagination of those living in the world's richest nations. This is a country where the economy is not just struggling, it's barely breathing. The majority of the population lives on less than $1 a day, a sum that is barely enough to buy a loaf of bread in most parts of the world. The job market is virtually non-existent, with unemployment rates soaring through the roof, and those who are lucky enough to have work often toil under precarious conditions for minimal pay. Education, the cornerstone of growth and development, is a luxury that few can afford. Schools are scarce and often lack basic facilities. Many children, instead of learning in classrooms, are forced to work from a young age to help their families scrape together a living. Healthcare is another major challenge. With a lack of hospitals, doctors, and medicines, even the most minor illness can become a death sentence. Infant mortality rates are heartbreakingly high and life expectancy is tragically low. Infrastructure too is in a dire state. Roads are often unpaved, houses lack electricity and clean water, and public transportation is virtually non-existent. This lack of basic amenities makes everyday tasks like fetching water or traveling to work an uphill battle. The standard of living in the poorest country is not just low, it's unimaginably bleak. The happiness index, a measure of the overall well-being of a country's citizens, is also depressingly low. But it's not just about numbers and statistics, it's about real people enduring real hardships. Despite the dire circumstances, the people of the poorest country exhibit remarkable resilience. They face each day with bravery and determination, their spirits unbroken by the harsh realities of their lives. Yet, they deserve more than just survival. They deserve a chance at a better life, an opportunity to escape the cycle of poverty and despair. Here the struggle is not just for prosperity, but for survival. The disparity between the richest and poorest countries has far-reaching impacts. An often overshadowed fact, the wealth gap plays a significant role in shaping our world, from the global economy to migration patterns and international relations. Let's start with the global economy. The wealth gap creates an imbalance in the economic landscape. Rich countries often have stronger economies with a plethora of industries and businesses that generate income and prosperity. Poorer nations, on the other hand, struggle to develop their economies due to lack of resources and investment. This imbalance leads to a vicious cycle where wealth accumulates in the hands of a few, leaving the majority in poverty. Moving on to migration patterns. The disparity in wealth often drives people to seek better opportunities. This mass movement from poorer to richer nations has its own set of implications. It can lead to brain drain in developing countries, as their brightest minds seek opportunities elsewhere. Simultaneously, it puts pressure on the infrastructure and resources of wealthier nations, leading to social and political tensions. The wealth gap also influences international relations. Richer countries hold more power in global politics, often dictating the terms of international agreements and treaties. This can create a power imbalance, where the needs and rights of poorer nations are sidelined. But it's not just about economics or politics. The implications for social justice, human rights, and global development are profound. The wealth disparity can perpetuate social inequalities, hinder human rights, and stall global development. It's a matter of social justice when the basic needs of millions are unmet, while a small section of society enjoys unimaginable wealth. It's a matter of human rights when people in poor countries lack access to education, health care, and a decent standard of living. And it's a matter of global development when such disparities hinder the world's progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. This disparity is not just an economic issue, it's a humanitarian one. We must recognize the impact of wealth disparity on our world, and work towards a more equitable future. For it's not just about the distribution of wealth, but the distribution of opportunity, dignity, and hope. So what can be done to bridge this vast wealth gap? This question is far from simple, but there are pathways that can lead us towards a more equitable world. The first step in addressing global inequality is fostering international cooperation. In a world more connected than ever, countries must band together, sharing resources and knowledge to uplift those nations struggling economically. This isn't just about charity, it's about global partnerships that benefit all involved. Trade agreements, for instance, should be fair and mutually beneficial, allowing poorer countries to grow their economies while richer nations also reap rewards. Aid programs also play a crucial role. However, these need to be thoughtfully designed to empower rather than create dependency. For example, microfinancing initiatives can provide small business loans to individuals in impoverished nations. This not only provides a lifeline but also encourages entrepreneurship and self-reliance. Sustainable development projects are another key strategy. These initiatives aim to improve living conditions while also preserving the environment. Think renewable energy projects that not only bring power to remote villages but also combat climate change. Or agricultural programs that teach efficient, sustainable farming techniques to ensure food security. And let's not forget the role of individuals, governments, and organizations. Each of us can contribute to this effort, whether it's by making conscious purchasing decisions, advocating for fair policies, or supporting organizations working towards these goals. Governments, in turn, must prioritize social welfare, creating policies that promote education, healthcare, and employment opportunities for all. Meanwhile, organizations can leverage their resources and influence to initiate change on a larger scale. In this journey towards greater equality, we must remember that every effort counts. From the decisions made by world leaders to the choices we make as consumers, every action can contribute to a more equitable world. To bridge this vast wealth gap, it will take collective effort, innovative solutions, and unwavering commitment. But the result, a world where wealth is more evenly distributed and everyone has a fair shot at success, is surely worth striving for. Change is possible, and it starts with awareness. The disparity between the richest and poorest countries is a stark reality, but not an insurmountable one. As we've journeyed through the extremes of wealth and poverty, we've observed the stark contrasts. The opulence of the world's wealthiest nation stands in sharp relief against the struggles of the most impoverished ones. But it's not just about money. Happiness, too, varies enormously. The happiest nations often exhibit a balance of wealth, social support, and individual freedom, whereas the saddest nations grapple with poverty, conflict, and lack of basic services. Yet, these disparities don't have to be our future. Addressing global inequality isn't just about philanthropy. It's about creating a more stable, sustainable, and prosperous world for us all. It's about ensuring that everyone, no matter their birthplace, has a fair shot at a good life. Together we can build a world where prosperity is shared, not divided. It's a grand task, but one well worth undertaking.